Woke up this morning, coffee in hand, flipped on the screen, my favorite man. Crafty's on the TV, chipping that stone with obsidian and flint, he's in the zone. He's shaping the future with a hit and a crack, building the legends, ain't no turning back. With every sharp edge, he's teaching the way of the ancients who thrived back in the day. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. Underneath those layers of dust and grit, finds the magic every little bit. A sculptor of stories, buried in the ground, each piece he uncovers wisdom abound. With every collision, the sparks start to fly. As the old world awakens, we question why. He's digging deeper where the shadows play, reviving old crafts that could fade away. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. And in this life, we're all just searching for our place in the world, a way to keep working. With the flick of his wrist, he brings forth the light. In every gray morning, he makes it feel right. So gather around, let the stories unfold. Crafty's our guide through the young and the old. With the sun rising high and the day moving on, Crafty carves dreams till the light is all gone. He's shaping the future one chip at a time. With every creation, he's keeping the rhyme. From the heartland of Texas to the mountains of green, the legacy lives on through the stonework unseen. With every perspective, he's showing the way. Crafty keeps going, come whatever may. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. So here's to the mornings with coffee in hand and Crafty on the screen, the true heart of the land. With a hit and a crack, he's paving the way through stone and through story. He inspires the day.
Hello. I'm trying to write with this, but I think the stone has too much dust on it. This is Big Fork Church from Arkansas. I'm trying to write Arkansas, but the marker is dying on me. Okay, so we got a challenge tonight. Tonight is Tuesday night challenge. Tuesdays and Thursdays is when I do the challenges. Okay, so I'll be trying some of this Big Fork Church. Almost said a bad word. I'm going to turn the fan on. It's way too hot in here. Turn the fan on low so it doesn't disrupt. Anyways, I also have some pink novaculite. I don't know if it's heat treated or not. Hopefully it is. If not, it's not going to be easy. Yeah. My friend Stacy gave me these pieces. There's other pieces in the batch that, I just showed here. Let's check the chat. I'm going to put my glasses on and check the chat. In case you're new, this is a 2-hour live stream. But sometimes it goes over that time. Sometimes it goes more than 2 hours. Sometimes less. Oh no. I drank a bunch of water, so I did not bring any in here with me. Let's see what we got. That's a different live stream. What did we do? Jim Main is here. Sam is here. Jorge is here. Alan Young is here. Jim Main. Bill Taylor. Sam is here. Did I already say that? Flicksguard is here. Mr. Jim. Tom Brown. Jim Main, right? I said Jim Main. There's too many Jims. Charles Rooker's here. Hello, Patrick. Sound is good. Smash the like button. Yeah, smash the like button. Ready for some rock enlightenment? You're going to be enlightened how much I suffer with this rock. Stoneface, up, homies. My Flintknapping journey is here. Graylin Landry. Let's see, Chris Cox. In Doghouse, Danny's here. Hello, my friends. What's a challenge? This Arkansas rock. I've got some Arkansas rock tonight. From Stacy. Rockin' Pops Adventures. Rockin' Pops Adventures gave me a bunch of rock for challenges. Carly is here. Stoneface. AM Outdoors. Danny Collins is here. Hey, how's it going? Awesome. Wow, we got a lot of Primitive Archer TV is here. Salutations. There you go. Look at all these people. I just stopped in for a quick hi, and I hope you guys have a great night. Alrighty. Good enough. Let's see. Jared is here. Hey. MAL Co. Patrick, how much material do you normally bring to a Knapping? Me? I bring like 3 buckets. Normally, but last time I only brought 1 bucket. Because I wanted to bring more rocks home than last year, so I had to leave some room. So yeah, I brought home like 5 or 6 buckets. Yeah. But I bring usually 1 now. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to start bringing only 1 bucket. Excuse me. I might be clearing my throat all night. Who knows? Okay. So we're going to start here. 2 Danny's in the house. Primitive Archer TV. It was great meeting you at Pepe's. Looking forward to talking with you more soon. Same here. Yeah. Pepe's is the Tennessee Knapping over at the Twin Oaks Bow Hunters. It's an archery shoot, but they also have a nap in there in Chapmansboro, Tennessee. We just came back from that one. Always is the first weekend of May. Okay. So let's see. Where am I? I need to plug in my phone because this other phone, the second phone's gonna die here in a minute. Of course, I forgot to charge it. Okay, so what do? Let's do the Novaculite first. This Big Fork chert is a lot like Onondaga chert, which is kind of tough. But I'm curious to see if that Novaculite is heat treated. Because if it's not, we're in for a big challenge. Yeah, it's a pinkish Novaculite. Okay. Stacy or Rockin' Pops Adventures also gave me some abraders, but I'm going to use those abraders on some other video because I'm used to this one already, and I don't want to mess up this particular piece by not using something that I'm used to. It's best if I use something that I'm used to. For now. Okay, so we got some issues with this one. Yeah, like I could see it to begin with that there was going to be some rough spots on this side. So let's get rid of the rough spots first. And by rough, I mean, you know, internal flaws. Hopefully they don't go too deep. I don't see them on the other side, so that's a good sign. See, is Rockin' Pop's Adventures in the house? Pink stuff is great, says Danny. Miguel is here. Good to see you. Yeah, Rockin' Pop's Adventures is in the house. It is heat treated. Okay. Cool. The pink stuff is great, says Danny. If it's glossy underneath, then it's cooked. Yeah, it's kind of glossy. But Stacy says it's heat treated, so it must be heat treated, even though it's not that glossy. Yeah, it naps well. So far, so good. I have to make sure I get through this internal defects, which is pretty common in rocks, in case you didn't know. I don't know how common it is in novaculite, since I don't all that much of it. This one feels a little bit delicate, but we don't know. We don't know until it starts getting thin how it's going to do. It could be nice now, yeah, and then it'll be in a bad mood later, and when it starts getting thin. Sometimes. We'll see. So am I going to explain how to do this? Well, I mean, you can see what I'm doing. The baseline alignment with the bopper is, like I said before, there's a center line for the bopper, right? The baseline is in alignment when you strike. When you impact, it should be in line with the center line of the piece. That's where you start, and then you can adjust the angle from there. This angle doesn't go down more than 10 degrees in most cases, right? Sometimes it'll be like 10 degrees, but it stops. You can't go too far because, you know, that fracture goes in. You're going to peel off flakes, right? You don't have much movement in there to peel off those flakes. So that's, what degree angle is this? Like 10 degrees? The thickness of the workpiece is like 10 degrees or something like that. And when it gets thinner, it gets even less. So that's this motion when you're hitting inward. That's this orientation. That's why it's only like 10 degrees at the most, because, you know, you don't have that much thickness in here to mess with the angle. The other way is different, because you can get really short flakes at 45. You don't want to go too much more than that because it doesn't grip it. Okay, for the new guys, up to 45 degrees this way, and we're judging by the center line of the bopper. And then right here is baseline. This is, most of your strikes are right around 0. And then if you really want to get adventurous, you go down like this, but depends on how thick it is. If it's really thick, you can go further down. But that fracture plane, it doesn't have much room to maneuver in there because the thickness of the piece, if you take your calipers, it's going to be like 10 degrees maximum, and as it gets thinner, it gets even less degrees, like sometimes up 3 degrees or something. I don't know. I don't do it scientifically. I go by feel, but some people need to see that in order to understand why why only inward force at a very low angle or a very low number, because you don't have much room in there. Okay? That's all I'm going to explain. You should be able to figure everything else out, because you'll need to practice. Yeah. There's no way for me to teach you what you need to learn from practice. If there was, man, I could I could write some courses and teach you all that stuff by words, but it wouldn't do you any good because it requires practice. The words don't mean anything if you don't do it. Yeah, this looks like it might be cooperative. Might be. I'm skinning off what I think is the defective side. This is the defective side because it has some internal issues. Okay. And if I don't grind the edges, I've seen some guys recently having trouble. They just smash the edges all up and they're wondering why they don't get thin. Because they're smashing the edges up while they're trying to trim it and stuff. And it gets really narrow and it messes with the ratio, the width to thickness ratio. You have to not make it narrow. You've got to grind it enough so it'll be strong enough to remove that flake you want without smashing the edge to pieces. And yeah, you've got to aim accurately. Accurate aiming, and you don't need a big old platform, or you don't need a big old area on the edge. I used to call it platforms, and a lot of people still call it platforms. The platforms are on the flakes. This is the platform here, so you know where did you initiate the strike. It's right here on the platform. The platforms are on the flakes. This is the edge, okay? And you can strike anywhere on the edge, anywhere. So I call it a striking area. If I narrow it down to this area, that's a striking area. But the striking area can be this big too. And you strike all along the striking area, like I'm going to be doing. My striking area is this big. I'll be taking flakes all through here. That's why I grind the whole thing. I used to call it continuous platform, but I don't use the word platform on the edge anymore. I use the word platform on the flakes. Okay, I'm gonna probably cut that into a short video because it's important. So you don't need to take off much of the edge. If you're smashing the edge more than that, you're not doing it right. Okay? If you're removing more than that on the edges of this kind of stuff, this is novaculite. It will smash a little bit because it's so delicate, but it shouldn't smash all that much, and that preserves the width for you. See, that's just a little area. Okay, you don't need to smash a bunch of area on the edge to get these flakes, but you have to improve your accuracy. Okay, and you don't control the flakes. They do whatever they want. Once you hit it, the flakes are free to do what they want. You don't control the flakes. You control your accuracy, and you're directing the forces, and then you just hope that the flakes will cooperate. That's Flintknapping. If you hear anything else, it's just fantasies. How do I know? I used to listen to internet culture when it comes to Flintknapping, and it didn't get me anywhere. It did the opposite. Cost me some time. Like, it cost me 2 years. Listening to internet culture surrounding Flintknapping, I lost 2 years. Wasted. I made nothing but gravel until I stopped listening to internet culture, and then I started actually napping. Yeah. Yeah, so it's starting to get thin, right? I mean, it was already biface when I got it. I'm in the preliminary thinning stage. Starting to get thin, and I do the ends first, so I'm skipping around a little bit. I did take some off the middle because it's defective. These areas are defective. Like, I still need some more off this tip to get rid of this internal fracture lines that are natural in the stone. They'll mess you up if you leave them in there. So, you know, in the process of scooping that out, I might install a curve, which means I'll lose some off the tip, some length off the tip. Let's see, what is the length? We're not going to do our usual yield on this because I started with a biface. 4 3/4. When I do the rocta points, like on Mondays, I'll measure everything so we'll know the yield. And when I do a rocta point on a normal video also, I'll measure the yield. But on live streams, the only time I'm going to measure the yield is on Mondays. Okay. Yeah, the Monday rocta points. The challenge nights, if I end up doing a rocta point on a challenge night, I might you know, do the calculations on how much yield there is compared to the initial rock that I start with. See, I have to be very accurate with the strikes. I'm not all that accurate with billet or bopper, I mean. So I switch over to indirect percussion as soon as I can. I'm working on my accuracy with the bopper. So I will try to be accurate, and I'll try to learn to be more accurate, but there's a physical handicap there. I don't know if it's because I have to wear glasses now to see. I have to wear magnifying glasses. See, these are readers, right? 1.25 magnification. I got to read these. I got to use these to read and to do this. But it throws off depth perception. I think that may be one reason it's throwing off my accuracy. But I've tried napping with boppers without the glasses, and I still have a physical handicap there. I just don't have the accuracy some other guys do. Anyways, I'm just going to continue to thin until I can't thin with this anymore, because it's, you know, I'll know when I reach my limit on what I can do. I start messing up a lot. When I start messing up a lot, I need to switch over to indirect percussion. Okay? All right. What are we going to make out of this? I don't know. I'm going to go with the flow. You know, there's a potential that I could break something off of this by mistake. If I try to do something to spec, it's a lot more difficult than if I just go with the flow. And if I increase the difficulty during a live stream, I also increase the chance of snapping it in half. So I'm not going to make it harder for myself. We're just going to go with the flow. All right? Okay. Try to maximize it. Yeah. It's still pink. Sometimes you lose the color. Yeah. Why pink? Yeah, this is going to be a gift for somebody. I don't want to say yet, because if it doesn't work, then it's okay, as long as I don't say who it's for. Okay, all right. I don't want to jinx it. Okay. But yeah, I'm not going to sell this one in the auction, because this one's going to be a gift outside of the auction. This is a rare occurrence. Okay, so let's see if we can take some good flakes here. But I got to be focused and accurate. Baseline is like that. See, I'm going to hit it to where it's all in line. Not inward like this, not too much this way. It's going to be pretty much in line. Yeah. Okay. Yay. That's what I want. Of course, it didn't spread out perfectly, but it's good enough for the next shot. This whole striking area is my potential my potential arena of attack. Did it reach? Ooh, it almost reached. But we have a land bridge. That's not too bad, right? Because I still got a lot of meat in here. But if this happens when it's thin, then you're in trouble. Because you don't have any meat in there to try to get under that. And I've heard it called undercutting when you get under an obstacle. But you don't need to use a special word for it. You just need to say that I need to get under that obstacle. Undercutting might throw people off. So I don't tend to use a lot of lingo. Unless it's funny lingo, like snap and half-ish. Now that was easy. Dang, I picked that right on out of there. Holy moly. Novaculate's good for picking? Apparently I forgot that Novaculite can be picked easily. Dang, that was easy peasy. I thought that land bridge was going to give me a headache. But no, it's fine. Yeah, like that. But I don't want to say that I'm being accurate because I'll jinx myself. Because if I say, ooh, I'm being accurate, I should be able to do that the whole time. Then I'll jinx myself. Yeah. So I'm not going to say that. Yeah. It's not really jinxing. When you have a good strike, don't expect to have a second good strike, because there's something called regression toward the mean. It always regresses toward your average abilities. Once in a while you'll get a nice flake. Don't take the nice flakes as a sign that your skill all of a sudden jumped to the next level. No, you got lucky. Your skill's still down here at this level. It's not, you didn't take another jump and now you're up here napping. No, you're still down here napping. That's regression to the mean. Your average flakes are going to be down in here. Once in a while you'll get a flake that makes you look like you're up at this level. And then once in a while you'll get a flake that makes you look like you're down at this level. But your average is in here. That's where most of your flakes are going to go. And that's where you look to see where you expect them to be or to go at your average skill level. Okay. Remember the regression toward the mean, okay? It's a thing that people forget in all kinds of skills, especially when there's risk involved. They forget about regression toward the mean, or regression to the mean. After a particularly good session. Okay? Okay. So this is actually napping cooperatively. I'm surprised. So the preliminary thinning is done. I'm going to switch to indirect percussion for the final thinning. Is it translucent? It should start getting very translucent as I get thinner. But I can tell these flakes are not strong. See that? I can break this flake with my hand. With a normal chert, I can't do that at all. Nope. Was that just a lucky flake? How about this one? Yeah, see how easy that snaps? So just be aware, and if you want to do this on your own too, see if I can snap this one. This one's not snappable, probably need the other glove. Let's see. This is a good way to test to see how snap and half-ish some of this stuff is. It's not always a good test, but I do it sometimes. Yeah, that's not too bad. I can't snap it easily. Yeah. It doesn't take much to get that to snap in half, so I got to be careful when I start thinning this. Very careful. Okay, so we're switching over to a different mindset. No longer is it just shaping it, getting convexity everywhere and removing the obstacles Now it's, you know, final thinning. It's a different mindset, much more careful. And the inward angle, you don't have, see that, you don't have much room there. If you measure this angle and how thick this is, you know what I mean? If you measure this angle, it's just very slight. So your play in there with the angle of attack or the angle of applied force is very small with inward strikes. Okay? Yeah, the inward strike angle corresponds directly to the thickness limitations of the workpiece. This angle here is all you got. All right, in case, I mean, I think that's obvious. I think that if someone tells me that this angle here is all you got, I'm going to say, all right, thanks, Captain Obvious. But some people, they need me to say that or something, or they need it to be said so that their eyes work, I guess. Please don't take it the wrong way. I don't mean it as an insulting thing. That's just the way that's just the way I understand it. Okay? Some people, if I don't say it, their eyes don't work. Their ears have a button in there to activate their eyes. So if they hear something correct or hear something that goes ding, then their eyes open up. Oh, now I see. Okay? Primitive Archer TV. I'm some people. Okay, well then, there you go. My condolences. No, I'm kidding, okay? All right, don't take it the wrong way. It took me a while to figure that out. So I'm the dummy here. Okay, so let's see what we got. We're going to start thinning. It's a whole different mindset. So I got to do a little meditation or whatever. I should do a little meditative hum. I've heard that it resets the brain. Hum for 20 seconds. Some of you out there that do meditation, maybe you can do that. It'll help clear the brain. Kind of like, I guess, when you clear the palate, when you're doing taste tests, you need something to clear your palate. So you may need to clear your mind with something before you start the next stage, because it's a different mindset now and a different technique. Obviously the indirect percussion is a different technique. It's the same angles and everything, same platforms on the flakes, I mean, and the same striking areas on the edges, same working areas, everything's the same. It's just you gotta, you know, you're using a mallet to hit something first, and then that thing is already on the workpiece. So this is the same. This mallet is easy. The hard part now is judging this. It's judging the movement of the workpiece, and I like a lot of ability to move this around. I don't want to be sitting here being restricted by a pad or my lap. I need full range of motion, and I don't want any restriction on my flaker, because a lot of times I need follow-through, a lot of follow-through, especially with tough materials. Okay, so that's why I don't use my lap. It's a restrictive position, restrictive posture if I nap on a pad or in my lap or on my leg or whatever. And just a little bit of restriction makes a big difference in Flintknapping. Okay? All right. At least with me. Some guys have no problem at all. They have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. That's fine. I'm not talking to you. Alrighty? Okay. Let's get that clear. We clear? We good? Alright. Donkenstein's here. Alright, can you clear that hinge? Where's the hinge that you want me to clear? Who said that? Justin? What hinge? Or did I do it already? I'm going to clear it anyway. I mean, you got to be patient. I mean, it's going to get thinner, so obviously it's got to be cleared sometime. So are you asking if I'm able, or you just want to get it out of the way because it's bugging you? You don't want to see it. How about this one? Is that what you mean? This Novaculite is easy pickings. It's easy to pick off stuff on this Novaculite. There's still some internal defects here, but as I thin this area, it should clear those off. All right. Someone's leaving. Primitive Archer TV says, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not talking to you. I never felt so ignored. I hope you're being funny. Because if I'm ignoring you, you gotta tell me straight up, hey bro, don't ignore me. Come on. I mean, you ignore everybody else, but you know, I'm kind of sensitive that way. Just tell me like that, and I won't be so rude. I'll make accommodations for some people, yeah. If I know you, and I know that you are sensitive, I might make an exception and not be so rude. Yeah. I'm seeing that this might be a problem. All right, here. Hey, Ed Gould's here. Who else? Let's see. Somebody needs some hankies? Okay, Primitive Archer TV. I'm messing with you, Patrick. I'm digging at myself and a general lack of knowledge. Okay, cool. Justin, yeah, you have much more skill than me. Well, it takes time. I had very low skills the first couple years. The first 3 years. It took me 3 years to get anything close to what I wanted. Before that, I was just going with the flow, making anything I could, and it was mostly just thick points with basic notches. Yeah. I still prefer basic notches and nothing too fancy. The only challenge I like in Flintknapping is looking at arrowheads and deciding which ones I like. Actually, it probably has nothing to do with Flintknapping itself. I like looking at different styles of points. The actual act of Flintknapping, for me, it's kind of like reading. It's an uphill battle. I like the results. Like after I finish reading something, if that was a cool book, I can sit and remember the book and say, yeah, that was cool. But during the reading of the book, for me, reading is an uphill battle. I get more, every word causes me fatigue. So if I read 1,000 words, I am very tired. Somebody says, or I heard it, that's got to do with dyslexia or something, I don't know. I don't normally think I have dyslexia when I'm reading, but there's a lot of effort there somewhere. Same with Flintknapping. There's a lot of effort involved with different stages that other people just don't have an issue with. So I'm sitting here fussing and they're going, bro, what are you talking about? I don't have that problem at all. Come on. Man up, dude. Bro. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I need to do. I need to man up because other people don't have this problem. Or that problem or whatever. See, I had to switch to doing indirect percussion in some capacity because I was not getting the accuracy that I needed. When I started Flintknapping in the beginning, everyone was using big boppers on big pieces and big hammerstones and big billets and making big points with big flutes and big. I said, I don't like the big points. I never have, probably never will. I like them small arrowheads for arrows. And maybe a knife or two. Yeah, I don't mind making a knife blade. Or two. But that's it. And then people were saying in the beginning, that indirect percussion seems to work good on the small stuff, huh? It's just a matter of scale, man. Bigger equipment with indirect percussion can yield bigger flakes on bigger stuff. It's just a matter of scale. I'm using this scale because I like making these smaller points. But yeah, I can I can make a set of tools that is really big, or bigger than what I've got now, with a heavier mallet, and start using indirect percussion on big stuff. I mean, really big. I know guys that'll sell me huge pieces, and I've got money now that I can spend a couple $100 on just one piece and make a big old blade. But do I want to? No, I don't. Too stressful. Like I said, Flintknapping is an uphill battle for me. The easier the task and the smaller the point, the more I like it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that explanation is probably too long to make a short video of that one. I'm going to try to cut, and do highlights from these live streams and learn editing and stuff. So I'm going to keep that in mind also while I'm doing these videos. Try to keep these explanations short. But, who knows? It might not work. My sense of time is not all that great. I think I'm spending 1 minute and I look at the clock and 10 minutes have gone by. Yeah. Okay. So as I go along, there'll be more step fractures and more hinges. And then I had to remove those two. The hinging and the step fracturing is an ongoing process. In the removal of those, you strike, you hinge, and then you have to remove, and then you strike somewhere else, you hinge or step fracture, and then you have to remove, and it's just it's a cycle. And you have to become good at your accuracy toward the end of the process, so you don't have to repair damages. And one thing that's good about the ending of the process is you're already used to removing a bunch of flakes, so your brain has kind of adapted to the material. What's going on? People messaging me during the live stream. They don't know. I have to forgive them because they know not what they do. Messaging me during a live stream. They don't know that bugs me. Yeah. And it doesn't bug me all that much, but it can affect the Flintknapping because little subtle things. If I see that little message, and I don't think I can stop those messages and still live stream because I got a dumb Android phone that doesn't allow me much options. If I put this in like an airplane mode or a mode that I don't receive messages, I probably cannot do a live stream. I haven't tried it yet though. I have to remember to try that. Anyways, we're getting to the point where I've got to stop thinning, but I don't know exactly when. I guess I'll stop thinning if I make a mistake, or if I mess up, I should say, because it's getting too thin. Hopefully it's not a catastrophic accident and then I say, oh, I guess I should have stopped thinning, huh? No, I gotta wait. I have to anticipate the problem. I can't wait till the problem happens. I can wait to maybe judge it by a slight problem. If a slight problem happens, that's not too bad. But if it's a big problem, that's too late. So I have to preemptively judge when this is going to snap. That's what makes this the hardest part in all of Flintknapping. How can you preemptively judge? You can't. So you're rolling the dice. Oh yes. I gotta pay attention to how these flakes are traveling. They're traveling okay. But I can't take it for granted because sometimes they step fracture. Sometimes it helps to keep the surface as smooth as possible and convex. Make sure that it's not flat in any areas. It will nap across the flat with some materials. Some materials like it when you nap across a flat surface, but 95% of materials don't like it when you nap across a flat surface. Okay? They like convexity. And it's very difficult to predict the endings of the flakes. But if you have convexity, the endings of the flakes will not look as bad as if it was a flat surface. Or, dished out, you're asking for trouble. You can plan on step fractures if it's dished out. Plan on it. Yeah, highly predictable step fractures if you strike into a dished out or concave areas. Yeah, you can bet on those easily. And they will happen. The trick is making sure everything always stays convex. And become a very good judge of convexity. Yeah. And, it helps to be a very good judge of which ridges are going to work. But you don't always need a ridge. Like for instance, some people don't understand that. I'll show you that way your eyes can work. I'll talk about it so your eyes can work. You don't have to follow a ridge. Like, see these ridges? You don't have to strike where those ridges are. Like, you don't have to strike here, 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 and here to get flakes. There's no ridge here, but I can strike into there. From here, if I grind that more, I can strike right there, but there's no ridge. But if I grind that down, as long as there's convexity, I can strike there. Right now it's too delicate. Same with some of these other areas. It's like right here, I can strike from here going in that way. The ridge is right here, but I can strike there. Yeah, I just got to grind this more. Do you understand the concept? You don't have to follow ridges. Like, these two are legitimate strikes. The surface is convex. You don't have to follow the ridge. All right, so now that I've said it, your eyes work, right? You can see the convexity and the opportunity. You don't have to wait for ridges. Yeah. Got it? Most of the time there are ridges that make it easy. Make it a no-brainer. Yeah, because there's ridges all over the place that are juicy. Juicy ridge. They should name the gum Juicy Ridge. So that's a juicy ridge there. But you can, there's no, let's say there's no ridge here, but I can strike from this point. I can strike from here, but there's a ridge here and here. But I don't have to strike there. I can strike in the middle of that. Yeah. It's flat enough. The surface is smooth and flat enough that I have a good opportunity everywhere. All right. So I'm just giving you examples. Wilderness Quest Outdoors is here. Jay is here. What's up? Chef Cowie is here. I can see it now, but I can't grasp it. You can't firmly grasp it? It's a SpongeBob reference. I'm sorry. Yeah, Squidward joined Patrick and SpongeBob during a jellyfishing expedition, and Squidward was in a wheelchair, all bandaged up, and his hands were bandaged up, so he couldn't firmly grasp the net to catch the jellyfish. So Patrick jammed the handle of the catching net through his bandages into his hand, and he said, "Firmly grasp it." Yeah. And then Squidward was not happy. Anyways, whenever I hear the words grasp, I don't think about, your brain understanding. I don't think about that kind of grasp. All right? All right. Anyways, I entertain myself, yes. Okay. What's next on this? I'm trying to decide. Okay, I'm stalling because I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to hit. And I'm trying to read the chat a little bit. I can only read like 5 comments at a time on this phone that I'm filming with, so I gotta scroll with my hand, and then luckily these gloves I can scroll on the phone even though I'm wearing gloves. Oh yeah, I put this on because I wanted to break a flake, but I don't need it. Alright, tap your screen twice for the like. Anyways, who else is here that I miss? Yeah, 70 people here, only 37 likes. What's up? Primitive Archer TV. So a strike off a ridge would benefit you, right? Let's see. Would benefit you in what way? It just makes the strike supported by the ridge. It makes the flake supported by the ridge. That's the only advantage. This flake is a little bit stronger. The ridges makes flakes stronger. Yeah. How should I mean, it relates to other things also. Like if you have a knife blade made of steel with a higher ridge down the middle, that helps with strength, right? It helps with the strength, but you don't need it in all cases. You don't have to have it. But it does make the flake stronger. Now, what advantage is there to stronger flakes? Well, they travel further in many cases. They are a little bit more predictable when they're stronger. They make less step fractures on average. They terminate less in the step fracture. But it all depends on how that ridge goes. If that ridge is all wonky, like if it's all kind of jaggedy, or not jaggedy, but see, the perfect ridge is perfectly straight. But if the ridge kind of wanders just slightly, the flake may wander slightly. You can sculpt the surface to create straight ridges, and that's like the best scenario for strength of flake. And it becomes important with the long, narrow flakes. But I usually don't go into this type of topic because I don't do flakes in that way. For me, to do a methodical flake pattern is highly mentally aggravating, and it's an excruciatingly bad time for me in knapping. So that's why I don't do flake over grind. I don't like following a ridge every time, hundreds of times, and then I grind it all down and do another pass the same way. Straight ridge, straight ridge, straight ridge, straight ridge, straight ridge. No, it drives me nuts, even thinking about it. So I don't go over that sort of stuff in my knapping. If you want that sort of technique, go over to the flake over grind guys. If you want to see how to do this, if you want to see how to do parallel flaking on a chaotic surface, you'll have to go to La La Land to learn that, because it doesn't exist. Back in the day, when they wanted to do parallel flaking, they have to make the preform almost perfect. And yes, they probably did that methodical straightening out every ridge before the final pass. You know, they did several passes of flakes to set up a perfect preform, so all these subsequent flakes will be nice and next to each other in a parallel flaking pattern. But that drives me totally insane. Get it?
I want to change the channel then, dude. This is not worth it for me. I've been waiting all these years for that, and now you tell me you're not going to do it?
Yeah, I'm telling you I'm not going to do it because it drives me nuts. So there you go. Besides, there's a lot of guys that do that better than I can do it. Even if I set my mind to it, I'm not that good at it. Because I'll take shortcuts and I'll say, it doesn't have to be perfect. I can space these flakes at a different spacing, right? doesn't have to be exactly 1/8 exactly every time. Exactly. Yeah, I'll sneak in a bit of a variation every now and then, right? What's wrong with that? No. Flake over grind or parallel flaking. They're obsessed with precision in exactly the same things every time. The exact same pattern every time. Exact same flake almost every time. Exact same tool tip ground down exactly the same way every time. The surface has to be exactly the same. They'll do like 10 blades in one day. All the blades are the same, ground down with the same convexity. All the flakes, you can count the flakes. There's 33 per side, let's say, on every blade they make. They mark it off with markers. They grind it exactly at the correct angle, this way or that way or this way. They measure the width of the ground down area. Everything is precision. And yeah, they used to do stuff like that, similar to that back in the day to make these parallel flake points. And, you know, if you didn't know that, I'm glad maybe now you know. But for me, that's Captain Obvious. It's obvious that's what they did to get those parallel flakes. You can't just pop them into existence from a random surface. Because, like I said, that's La La Land. I like making this kind of flake. That's the kind of flake I like. Yeah. All right. Why? I don't know. Okay. And I don't even know if I followed a ridge. Let's see. Can I get that flake back? Where's the ridge? There is no ridge. The ridge is over here on this side. See, on this one, there's no ridge here in the middle. The ridge is right here. So why didn't I strike that way? Because I wanted to strike that way. See that? I did not use a ridge, but I still got what I like. Okay? That's what I like. It's very different from parallel flaking. Got it? And it's very different from the long narrow flakes. All right. All this for me is like Captain Obvious, but maybe you guys didn't really know. Okay. Which is fine. It's fine. Primitive Archer TV. That's insane. It is insane, isn't it? Yeah, like me. I'm insane, so I do insane napping. All right? All right. There is a ridge on this one, though. See, I am prepared to strike near, almost along this ridge. This is the ridge here, right? I'm going to strike here, though, going this way. I'm not going to be right on the ridge. I'm going to be next to it. Why? Because I want the force directed in this direction. I don't want it directed up toward this direction. I don't want it to follow the ridge exactly. I want it to go a little bit that way. Because that's where the lump is. The lump is here, yeah, with the ridge there. But I want this to go this way because I want this thinned down as well on this side. I want it to be thinned down all the way to there. So it's going to fan out like this. If I follow that ridge, it may not fan out all the way. It may just go more narrowly like this, following this ridge. See, this ridge is like this. This flake may just, go toward that way. I don't want it to go toward that way. I want it to go like this. Okay? I want it to fan out like this. Thin down this area. As well as this area over here. Got it?
Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious. Just do it.
All right, I will. See? That's what I want. If I were to follow that ridge, it wouldn't fan out like that. How do I know? I've been doing this for 15 years. All right. And I've got to judge how thin I want to get this. Not too much thinner because it's getting me nervous. Okay? All right. Yeah, like that. Beauty. But I can't be goofing around on these next flakes. I gotta hold on here before I get too comfortable. Let's see. Yeah. This is gonna be a gift, and I gotta be careful. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that. The flakes get smaller as I get near the tip, okay? That should be obvious. So the forces change. The amount of grinding changes. The forces and the amount of grinding and the angles, sometimes the angles, but mostly the grinding and the amount of force change as you get thinner and as you get more narrow. Okay? You can't be just using the same force every single time. See, I'm blasting big flakes here, but if I blast a big flake over here, it overshoots. So you got to be, it's variable. Like you can do several same-os down here, but it's, you know, you get up to this point and you got to make a transition. All right? I'm going to try to be Captain Obvious tonight. And I use the file because it works better. All right? It's a Captain Obvious statement also. It just works better on these edges at this stage. Works better than the coarse abrader. The coarse abrader does the initial work, and then the finer abrader comes back and makes it smoother. Smoother edges make better contact with the tool tip. Better contact is always good. Always good with flint knapping. It's one of the few rules that always is good. Better contact with the edge is always good. So that means if this is getting too lumpy or it's got dust on it, it's not making as good a contact as you could potentially make if it was nice and clean and rounded and smooth and nice. Yes, hey, Red-Eyed Patriot, Michael is here, and he is telling you how it is. Those watching and not commenting, please double tap the screen and like the video. Yes, yes, excellent advice. Do it for the YouTubes. Don't do it for me. Do it for the YouTubes and for the other nappers out there. The more likes we get as a community of nappers, the more YouTube promotes napping videos. So it's not just for me. In the aggregate or in the overall scheme of things, YouTube starts looking at, hey, wait a second. Nappers get lots of likes. Let's start promoting napping videos. Yeah. That's the way it goes. That's why all these cooking channels do so well, because there's so many likes on the cooking channels. They may not get a lot of views, but the likes per view is pretty high. As an example, on the cooking channels and stuff like that. And when you monetize something that has a lot of favoritism, you get more per click. Yeah. YouTube pays you more if you're in a category that gets a lot of likes. Like I could get more money from YouTube if I monetize my channels if they were catered to, let's say, cooking or some sort of what else outdoorsy stuff like building outdoor shelters. Those kinds of videos get a lot of views. You know, I survived 2 days in sub-zero temperatures with a homemade, just quick shelter in the middle of winter in a storm. I built a house out of leaves. I dug a house out of the side of a cliff and lived in it with my dog for a month. Those videos get a lot of money because there's a lot of likes and a lot of views. And sometimes I go, why don't I just make videos of how to live in different primitive shelters instead of spending all this time making stuff out of rocks? I could make stuff out of the sides of hills and stuff, etc., etc. But no, I don't enjoy that. I would not enjoy sleeping overnight in a hole in the ground. I've done it before, and it affects my sinuses. The mold affects my sinuses big time. They probably don't show that. I've lived in shelters in the ground. I've dug foxholes in the military. Sometimes you end up the next morning with a bad headache because you slept with a bunch of mold or whatever. Sometimes a bug crawls in your eye, etc., etc. You wake up with ants on you. All kinds of stupid stuff happens, but they don't show those in the videos. Let's see, Charles Jack, on my YouTube screen there is no icon to add a like. That may be why you are not seeing likes. You double tap the screen. You don't need an icon. And people have been telling, they'll say that. Tap the screen twice like this. Tap, tap. See that? Tap, tap. And that little thumbs up happened. Okay? That's how you can tell you like the video. That little thumbs up cartoon pops up. See, it wants to do that. It seems to be pretty common with this particular piece of novaculite. This little breakage right in the middle. That's not a good sign, because it leaves these telltale little, I don't know what you call them, unfeathered terminations. They're unfeathered. That's what they are. It's a Flintknapping term. Yeah. They're abrupt and not feathered. And it doesn't look as nice. It makes you look like you don't know what you're doing. See, that one's a little bit better, but it still had a little bit of an unfeathered termination. But they should terminate like this right there. See, feathered, where there's barely any mark at the end. Not like this or like that. But it's starting to get flat. So that's a disadvantage. I think I've reached the thinness limit. I still got to take this out though with a flake. This is too pronounced. I can't just leave it in there. These I have to leave it in because, what can I do? There's not much I can do. If I try to make it perfectly feathered, I might just make it worse by having the same thing happen on the other side. So I'm going to leave those. Sometimes if you put mineral oil on that, it doesn't show up as much. Yeah. Mineral oil. And see, I could pop that one out because it was a little bit more abrupt, but these I can't get in there, right? What can I? Sometimes I can get in there and pop these out. And if sometimes you can use a razor blade to pop these out. And if this is thin enough, sharp enough, you can get in there and pop them out. But yeah, they're really close to the surface. Oh, there it goes. I mean, the step fracture is not high enough to get the tool in there and pop it out. They're very, very sneaky little steps, but they show up a lot on the vaculite. Yeah, so let's do the other side. Let's try to wrap this up and put some notches in. What time is it? I've been on for an hour and 10 minutes. Okay, we still got time. I will check the chat. I've been checking it periodically, but I can only see like 4 or 5 comments at a time on this phone, and it's hard for me to read because they go by fast sometimes. Let's see. Somebody says, haven't seen your videos, Danny, yet. What's the code? I don't think there's a code. Dakota Horn says, I've been trying to get people to tap their screen twice for 10 minutes. Yeah, some people are watching this on TV, so I don't think there's an option for tapping, double tapping. Okay? If you're watching this on the TV, let me know. I'm pretty sure there's no double tap feature if you're watching it on TV, right? It's only on if you're on your phone. Some people can watch these vertical videos on TV. You know, you got a horizontal TV. The savvy people, the people who know how to tune in or get the latest technology, they know how to turn their whole TV this way, vertical. The whole TV can turn vertical if you got the proper support in the back. And then you do the settings. You can set the settings to display vertical these types of videos. So now you can see everything in a vertical format on the TV. But if you don't know, you don't know. What are you guys talking about? I'll check the chat here in a minute. I got to get rid of this step fracture if I can. But it looks like I need to pressure flake the edge to get it looking better. I got to do some persnickety napping, and I do it from time to time, but I don't do it during the whole video. Only when I know I need it for sure. Then I'll go back and I'll do some persnickety napping on the edge, because I need this edge to be just right to get that final flake to go. Yeah, because the edge was too far that way, so I got to drop it this way, but not too much. I can sculpt it with this, but this indirect flaker is a little bit too aggressive, so I use a pressure flaker. Yeah, just get just the right amount of bump. Just the right amount of bump to get over the hump. Right? Right. And is there a ridge? Just barely a ridge there. That's just a fat spot. Yeah, I guess you can see there is kind of a ridge there. I'm going to be following that, and that flake should fan out. Yeah. Or I could do it. I could shoot a flake this way, and it'll fan out. Well, I got 3 options. This is my plan A, direct attack. This is plan B there, and then if it doesn't, those 2 don't work, I can do a plan C this way. But see, this is the furthest away. So I do the closest to the obstacle first. This is the next closest, and this is the furthest away. And there's a little bit of a dip right in there, so that's not good. The ridge is good here, but then there's no ridge there. It kind of goes inward a little bit. So, I mean, I could strike this way. But no, I'm going to do a direct attack here. Or here, one of these 2. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do. This one will probably remove that step fracture more cleanly than if I were to attack it this way. Sometimes when I attack it like this, it'll only go part way, and it'll remove this part of the step fracture, but it'll stop here and won't remove that part. But if I go this way, it'll fan out better, and hopefully it'll terminate right where, you see that incomplete fracture is? As long as I overlap that a little bit, it'll pop out of there. So this is the best chance for overlapping that whole business. Got it? But the brain takes over that whole scenario. You don't even have to think about it. And you know what? I might even do plan C anyway. Even if that's the furthest away, I might just do that. Yeah. I don't know. No, I'll do a direct attack. Why? I don't know. Yeah. So see, it overlapped just enough, which is good. No need to be greedy. No need to be greedy and get a really big flake. It still has a little bit of remnant. If I had done a thicker flake, I could have got under that remnant. But that's why I say there's no need to be greedy, because a bigger flake might have just broken everything right in half, or broken the piece in half. All right. Now it's just a matter of finishing up. Well, there's another hinge right there. Let's see if I can pick that one. It's not a hinge really, it's a step. A hinge is when it scoops it at the end. When there's a scoop at the end of the flake, that's a hinge. If there's a broken step at the end, that's a step fracture. That's the difference between a hinge and a step fracture. A hinge is a scoop. They should call it a scoop flake instead of a hinge flake or whatever. Scoop fracture instead of a hinge fracture. Know what I mean, Jelly Bean? All right, so yeah, we're gonna leave it there, because if I go thinner, I'm just being greedy. What is the ratio and what is the total length? It's funny you should ask. I was just about to do that. 4 inches almost exactly. The width is 1 3/4. The ratio I'm going to do in millimeters because it's easier, because millimeters was invented by smart people. 44 divided by, what is that? 6, 7 to 1. 6 millimeters thick by 44 is roughly 7 to 1. 44, 42. If it's 42, then it's exactly 7 to 1. Nice. 6 to 1 is usually my goal. So I surpassed my own goal of 6 to 1. Amazing. All while goofing around and saying all kinds of stupid stuff. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I didn't charge this thing. This was not being charged that whole time. I thought I had plugged it in. Okay. And we should have enough. It's got 38%. Okay, what did I miss? Hey, someone give me a super chat. In Doghouse, Danny. Plan A, then Plan C, then Plan B. Yeah, I did do Plan A, so you were right on the money, Danny. Thank you for the super chat, $10. Rockin' Pop's Adventures, nice instructional video, Patrick. Thank you. Okay, let me go back and see if there's questions. Midwest Brand says Lava Blades gives free points to new subscribers. He's giving out 10,000 He's giving out 10,000 blades a month, because he gets thousands of new subscribers, or he just gives it to one of many thousands. I have yet to get that many thousands of subscribers. If proportionally, I would need to have a lot more subscribers just to give out one free blade. Right? It's nothing for Lava Blades to get 33,000 subscribers and give out one blade for that many, but I only have 33,000 subscribers. Let me see. So I should give out one free blade. Wait a second, I've given out more free blades than that. You got to be at a Knapping, though. I'll give you a free blade if you're at a Knapping. And I'm there, too. Okay? All right. It came out really nice, Patrick. Thank you. I'm going to sharpen this, and I'm going to put notches in it. But for this video, I might just call this good. Yeah. And then work on some of the other stuff. that I'm not afraid of breaking. I'll finish this off camera. Yeah. But it'll have some nice notches in it. I'll probably show it in a different video finished. Yeah. I don't want to break it. It's very important that I don't break it. Let's see here. Somebody, your card got blocked. Ed, you couldn't give a super chat or something? What else we got? Getting close to 8-1? Yeah. Anything better than 6-1, you're just getting greedy. You know, if I do better than 6-1, I'm getting greedy. You can do whatever you want. One-Eyed Dog is here. I'm using the YouTube app on my TV. There's a like button at the bottom right-hand corner. Well, then cool. There he goes. I didn't know there was one because I don't watch TV with YouTube. In fact, I don't have TVs in my house. I gave them all away. I don't have a single TV in my house now. After many, many years of having TVs in the house with the kids and the ex-wife, they were glued and addicted to the TV. Yeah, my ex-wife also, especially. It was funny because she would say, let's watch a movie tonight. Okay. And then we'd turn the movie on. Beautiful big TV, because she spends a lot of money on the TV. And it starts rolling. The movie starts rolling. 10 minutes later, she's snoring. I said, man, I'm going to be up because I want to watch the rest of this. I don't want to watch 10 minutes and that's it. So this one's a good movie. So yeah, she keeps me up while she's sleeping. How does that work? And then I go to work the next day. Oh, and she sleeps in. She sleeps before I do, and then she gets up after I get up. Yeah, and I take the kids to school and I go to work. But that was the marriage. Now I don't have to have a single gosh darn TV in the house at all or anywhere near me. All right, where is this? Someone got arrested. A dentist got arrested down the street for selling drugs. Yeah, has the world come to these days? Hey, someone gave me a $4.99 super chat. Aaron, what's up, big dog? Are we doing pine trees tonight? Well, let's see. I'm going to be napping some big fork jerk here in a minute. You missed the pink novaculite. I got a 7-1 with the thickness ratio on the pink novaculite, and I'm afraid to go further. So what I'm going to do is I'll finish this off camera and make it real nice. This will not be available in the auction because it's a gift for somebody, and I don't want to break it. If I continue to goof around on video, I'm liable to break this. All right. I'll put some nice notches in it. I'll show you when it's done. Jesse, Patrick, the gift we send little presents icon, not the super chats. Does the YouTube take a percentage of those? No. No. Those little gifts, no. Yeah, I don't think. Well, that's a good question. I don't think they take a percentage on those. You ever go to Silver Springs, Florida, Knapping, Patrick? Nope, I've never gone to Silver Springs. One day I'll go there because I've got some friends that I've met at other Knappings that are there, like David Brown. I think he goes to Silver Springs. So, no, I mean, I have friends that go there, but I have not been there yet. Let's see, what else here? Let's see. Primitive Archer TV says, well, my wife says I need to pay attention to her now. She's making sourdough. I enjoyed the time with y'all, Patrick. Thanks for the education. You're very welcome. We'll see you next time. I know how that is. Any nap-ins in North Dakota? If so, I'll give you some rock. Who you talking to? Midwest Brand says he'll give somebody some rock. I don't think there's any nap-ins in North Dakota, but I could be wrong. Ask me in the comments section of a different video, because I've got what I call a Napadex. I think, maybe. There might be one close to North Dakota or in North Dakota. I can't remember. Let's see. We got a bunch of new people here. Which is fine. All right, so I'm looking for questions. If I don't see questions, I'm getting back to napping. You guys are funny. Let's see. Okay, so I think I've read some of these. Tony Williams, chicken fighting is way up here, way up there. The hog hunters and fishing and other like posts support each other. We got to stick together. Hey, Father Time is here. Awesome. Hey, who else is here that I missed? Jack, on my YouTube screen, there's... Okay, I see. I read that one already. Alright, so let's see. I don't see questions. I'm going to get back to napping. Bobby Estes. My question is, that looks like a lost lake to me. Is that what we're doing tonight? No, I'm not going to do a lost lake on video tonight. No. I mean, this could be a preform for a lost lake, yes, but I'm not finishing this out on this video because I'm afraid to break it. I've got to be completely in the zone and focused not to break this. People ask me,
How do I not break it? Come on, just tell us how to not break it. To stop holding out on us. Bro.
you want to know the secret? No distractions, no interruptions. Make sure you actually are practicing what you intend to do. Like, let's say that I intend to sharpen and notch it and not to thin it anymore. Okay? So when I get back to this, I better only be doing notching and sharpening, and that's it. That's one way to not break it. The other way is be very careful because you're rolling the dice. Yeah. I guess that's it. Would it have to be beveled to be a lost lake? No, a lost lake in the pristine state or the initial state, I don't think that they are beveled. I think they start out with convex edges, and then as they get beveled down, or as they get sharpened, they get beveled more and more. The bevel becomes more pronounced as they are resharpened. And the sides start to become concave or incurvate as they get resharpened, and then they end up as drills sometimes, or what looks like a drill and is actually a knife. Come on, where is this? Why does it do that? I have seen some pretty beveled kirks. Yeah, there's a lot of points that are resharpened with bevels. But in the pristine state, in the initial stages, a lot of these points are not beveled. Beveling is a sharpening technique. There's many different base. Okay, I'll show you. There's different bases and stems on lost lakes. I've had people argue with me in the past. I'll make a lost lake and they go,
No, that's not a lost lake, dude. Bro, it's not a lost lake. It's not like the one I found. What are you, stupid?
I've had arguments with people, but I'm going to show you if I can figure out where they are. I think they're in the south central area of the U.S. Let's see. No, they're in the eastern central. Okay. Let's look. Hell. Kirk. And I have arguments with the Kirk too. Some are serrated, some are not. On the Kirk corner notched. Like, see these These are Kirk corner notched, and some people say, no, it's not a Kirk. It's not a Kirk. It's in the book, okay? If it's in the book, it's correct, right? Or it's more correct than you. Some rando on the internet. Lost Lake. We're getting close. Come on, my finger's not gripping the pages. Okay, we're getting close. I think it's just the next page over. My fingers covered with dust. Oh, here it is. Okay, so look, there's different Lost Lake stems and barbs. These are all Lost Lakes, and people say, no, bro, this is the only Lost Lake. And besides, this is kind of short, so it doesn't look right. And that's not a Lost Lake, that's not a Lost Lake, that's not a Lost Lake. They are all Lost Lakes. All of them. And this book has more knowledge than you, Randall. Some have deep notches. Some have, normal notches. Some are asymmetrical. They don't have to be symmetrical. Right? But people say, no, bro, see, that's a straight base. That's not a Lost Lake. I mean, I've had arguments. So I don't argue anymore. These are all Lost Lakes. And see, this one even has a little dent in the middle. And then this is a different base. Okay? Get this book, and then you'll become wiser than if you stayed in the Holiday Inn Express. Okay? This one has a distinct bevel. But if you look at some of these other ones, there's no bevel. They're just serrations. Like this is no bevel, right? Oh, this one says beveled. Okay, we just can't see it. Which one doesn't have a bevel? Looks like these all have bevels. Sometimes we just can't see it. This one here, it doesn't say it has a beveled edge. Serrated. These are serrated edges. This one doesn't have a bevel. These do. Wherever it says bevel, it has a beveled edge. We can't see it because they're not showing side views. This one does not have a bevel. This one does not have bevels. Some of these don't have bevels. And some of them do. Okay? So you're getting a lesson for free. You don't have to spend money on the book. Some of them have serrations and some don't. This one is serrated and beveled. But they don't always go together. They don't always have both. Okay? Alright. Yeah, some of them have very pronounced bevel, like this one here, and some of them have bevels, but they're not as pronounced. Some have little flakes, little flaky bevels, and some have big flaky bevels, or long flaky bevels. Okay? Alright. So there you go. There's variations on the Lost Lakes.
You didn't have to be so rude, bro. Come on, we don't know all that much, except when we say we do.
Yeah, I know. Okay, Big Fork Chert. Let's see. Let me try napping some of this. This is going to be all cracked up. Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to clean up the area. Oh, I do have to clean this out of here because I don't want a flake falling on this and breaking it. Because that has happened to me in the past, where I knock a flake off or a big spall and it goes right on top of something I've got sitting out. Oh yes. One of the most aggravating things ever. This is a lot like Onondaga Chert. The kind that's freeze cracked. If I can find a solid area, I can probably take a spall, if there's a solid area, and I can make an arrowhead out of one of those spalls. Bigger bopper. The bigger bopper upper. That one can be made into an arrowhead. Yeah, let's see. Is that good? No? It looks nasty, but we'll set it over here. Let's see if it easily cracks. If it doesn't easily crack, we might be in business with that one. What else can we do here? Maybe we can make a big biface out of this thing. Yeah. Let's see if we can biface this thing. It's sweet, right? I wish. But yeah, I mean, I'll take this challenge. I'm up for this challenge, yes. It's a little bit better than some other stuff I've been napping. Yeah. It's not, I mean, it's not terrible. Except the crack parts. They're terrible, but this material feels like it might nap okay. Oh, look at that. It's got some weirdness. What's the formula for napping this? The formula is don't break it. It's a very simple formula. It's got 3 variables, D, B, and I. Don't break it. Yeah. Where are we going with this? Well, we'll try to get a biface. Yeah, why not? It's not going all that well, but we might be able to do something. Yeah. Stay optimistic. Even though it's uphill battle the whole way. Both ways. This is like walking in the snow to school both ways. Uphill. Both ways. Walking to school in the snow. Uphill both ways. That's what napping this is like. Dakota Horn, Patrick, did you know the guy named Freeze Cracked, and what, if anything, happened to him? He hasn't posted for a long time. Freeze Cracked has had health issues, and he doesn't want to post. Okay? That's it. Easy peasy. He's still around. He just doesn't want to post anymore. I'm pretty sure he mentioned that in one of his videos too. Bobby SD's break out some of that Tennessee Fort Payne. Why, you liked it? You like it? That's what you like? I've got some. It's not a difficult request. I'm trying to make miracles with this stuff. That gets the views. If I can do a miracle, I got a lot more views than with the Fort Payne stuff. Yeah. The Fort Payne's easy peasy. And there's actually artifacts made from this stuff. But, you know, back in the day, they would have to go through a lot of material to get the good stuff. You can't work miracles unless you're on this channel. Yeah, can't expect miracles unless you're on this channel. Then you can expect miracles all day long. Because that's what I get. I get people expecting miracles all day long. Some people say, "Well, I saw another dude on the internet, on YouTube, that get he does miracles, even with really crappy tools." Yeah, what's the problem? Problem is, I'm not as good as that guy apparently, and I will admit it. Yes. Uh-oh. See, this next stage of thinning, I don't know. We got the easy part done already. Now we're starting to get into the thinning. Let's do it, brother. I'm pumped. Fort Payne, let's do it. You want to do the Fort Payne instead of this? What about Rockin' Pop's Adventures? Stacy wants to see something made out of this stuff. Let's see. Here's the Fort Payne. Ed says, good night. Good show. Well, I'm glad you think so. I've got like I got 20 more minutes to go. Let me see what's going on in the chat. That stuff's already gravel, says Aaron. Yeah, I know. But people want to see it. N Doghouse says, I miss Jerry. I learned so much from him in my early years 10 years ago. I remember him telling me, you got a nice turtle back going on there, Danny. Ha! He helped me so much. That was over a decade ago. Yeah. Yeah. I remember him. I've been at nap-ins where he's been there. I've napped with him. Let's do it, brother. $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Let me see. Wilderness Quest Outdoors looks like my type of rock. Yes, I've got a lot of this stuff from Jay that looks very similar to this. Stone from New York. Yeah. It's very similar, Jay. It's actually very similar than the stuff you sent me. And I haven't napped the stuff you sent me just for this reason, because it's highly challenging. But it is strong. Yeah, just like this. So yeah, Jay sends me different stones to try. AZ Shaman, what makes a lost lake a lost lake? Is it where and when it was made? Yes. Exactly. It's location. Location, you know, whatever state or area, but also location and the depth in the ground, how old it is. They judge how old it is by the depth it is in the ground, plus they date the carbon that they find in that layer, the carbon from fires, campfires in those camps. It's the date and the location. That's what makes it a lost lake, plus what they call metrics, which is the basic shape. All these lost lake shapes are very similar in most cases. Some are outliers, like you'll get a weird looking lost lake once in a while, but most of them have about the same shape. They're just not exactly the same. So to answer the question, what makes a lost lake a lost lake? An archaeologist saying it is. That's it. There is no rhyme or reason. They're kind of guessing educated guesses. Thank you for the super chat. Mr. Estes has given me a lot of super chats. Thank you. So no one wants to see the crunchy stuff? Hit the other piece, Patrick. What other piece? This one here? Yeah, let me hit this piece, and then, it's probably going to be very similar. Let's see. Let's try this. Oh, actually, this is even crunchier and not as solid as the other piece, as the first one. Oh, there's a nice smooth area there. Let's see if I can get another piece off of that one. I can maybe make something out of some of this. It's very cracked. Yeah, I might be able to get a piece out of one of these. Maybe that one. Oh, yeah, I can probably get something out of this one, but not very big. Maybe get something out of some of these other ones. I'm going to start hitting this Fort Payne. It takes a while to get something good from stone that's usually cracked. We'll have to go through a lot of pieces, Stacy. In order for me to get a good sized piece out of those, I'm going to have to break a lot of them. just to break into them and see what they look like. All right. So we're gonna use the Fort Payne here for a second. See if that's solid. All right. This might not be solid. It looks okay. There is some cracks in it there. All right, let's see what we got. Yes, yes. See, this lighter color is not that great, but the darker color is excellent. Yeah, slick. AZ Shaman 1999 Super Chat. I just wanted to say that you first introduced me to the art of napping through your videos. I appreciate you sharing your knowledge and talent. Thank you for being you. Thank you. That's a very nice thing to say. And a very nice Super Chat too. Thank you. Yeah. Awesome. Let me see. Let me put a heart and a like on your Super Chat. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Mr. Estes, Fort Payne is hardly ever solid, but you can get a little something out of it. Yes, yes. Very true. All right, let's see what we got. We might be able to get something pretty large. I'm using the 13-ounce bopper. See if we can get some big flakes here. It's kind of crunchy on this side, which means it's, you know, hard to predict. That's a good flake. It's got some defects, but, you know, that's to be expected. It's to be expected. See, that's a little bit of a defect there. Let's see if we can get rid of this turtleback. Turtleback is, you know, a big lump on one side. There's no rhyme or reason or formula for that, how to get rid of turtlebacks. It just, you have to just look for opportunities, maybe create a nice striking area. Yeah, let's see if that, well, see, there's a crack here too, so I'm worried about that. What should I look for first? It doesn't look like it penetrates all the way through, so I think I'm safe trying to remove that turtleback. Sometimes if there's a crack here and I hit real hard somewhere else, that just cracks the whole thing. But if I was careful before that to remove the crack and then I hit somewhere else, it won't break the whole thing. And there's also a crack in here, so decisions. What should I go for first? Try to eliminate the cracks or just try to get a big flake somewhere? I think it might be futile trying to get a big flake somewhere. I don't know, maybe I'm going to try to crack this turtleback off that section. Yeah. All right, here we go. I'm going to hit extremely hard. Yeah. That worked out pretty good. One more hit. When we're in business, maybe. Any other place we could hit? We could hit here. Plan A and Plan B. I mean, my Plan A was to hit there and get a bigger flake. If Plan B is to hit there and get a smaller flake, you know, or maybe just a bulgy one. But see, this one might, from here, might yield a bigger flake, especially if it cuts into more of the meat. Here, I don't know. I could probably take off. Let's take off some of this Cortex stuff. And that might give us an opportunity to take a flake this way. I could hit right on that and see if I can take a flake this way. And it might meet up with this crack and eliminate it. Yeah, well, let's do that. Let's hit it right there. Yes? Yep, you convinced me. Yeah, but it didn't go deep enough. But it was okay. That's a good flake for making something. Let's see what else. This one here. That was our original plan A. Nothing. Nothing. And it got rid of that area. That solved that problem. Let's try this area here. Let's try this one. Nope. That one went into orbit, that flake. I'm hitting it extremely hard. That one split it very well. Yeah. Actually, I'm glad that I got that flake. That leaves us some good material on this side. Where did it go? Nobody know? No, I lost track. Okay, it went right there. So this one has that crack goes right along the cortex, so we eliminate the cortex, we get a nice flake. Solid. But this is the biggest one. See, this light area doesn't nap very well. See, it's totally different in consistency. It feels like sandstone, although it is slightly nappable. Only slightly compared to the other stuff. Switch to a smaller bopper. Yeah, more accuracy. Let's get rid of the cortex. Get rid of that nasty cortex stuff. Dang, we're all up late. Yes, we are. Well, if you're in the Eastern time zone, it's not late for me. I mean, it's not late for some of you guys. It is late for me. But it's better for me to do this late at night because there's no neighbor noises. And I'm usually scrolling, trying to fall asleep right now. I end up doom scrolling. Might as well do a video. I should know better than to try doom scrolling to fall asleep, but I don't know what it is. It does help me fall asleep. They say doom scrolling can cause depression. Yeah, I believe it. But I got over my depression. It's hard for me to get back into the depression nowadays. I just go, what is this nonsense I see on the internet? It's terrible. I guess I'll go to sleep now. You know, that sort of thing. It doesn't get me depressed. So, what do I make? A Clovis? Yeah, let's make a Clovis. Really, dude? Don't be kidding. Yeah, I am kidding. Oh, dang it. I'm not gonna make no Clovises. You kidding me? I don't make anything cool. As soon as I start making something cool, someone's gonna say I'm not doing it right. I'm tired of that. Let's see, what do we got here? Yeah. I think you should make a Clovis, yeah. There's always a little wise guy in the corner. Somebody asked me, what's that clicking noise? Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes when I watch the live streams, I notice that the phone makes weird clicking noises, or noises like there's some kind of like you're scrunching leather. I don't know what that is. Let me check. Like you're scrunching leather. I don't know what that is. Let me check. Like you're scrunching leather. I don't know what that is. Let me check. Yeah, I won't be able to check in here. What I need to do is start wearing headphones during the live stream so I can plug the headphones into this separate phone and I can listen to the live stream and hear if there's some weird background noises. Yeah, I need to bring the headphones in here. But it gets confusing because there's an echo. When I bring headphones in here, you can't hear the echo, but I can hear the echo, and it throws me off, and it could mess up the clothes that I'm gonna make. Yeah. How much time we got? I'll do some challenging rocks on the long format videos. I can have better results if I just do a regular long format video. So on some of this from Rock and Pop's Adventures, I can probably make more progress if I just do it on a regular video than trying to do this during a live stream. These are not going to be easy. The fork pane is actually much easier to make something from. But yeah, I think that what I'll do is, Stacy, what I think I'll do is I'll use some of this. I already forgot what it's called. Yeah, we've got some more pieces in here. Big fork, but they all look similar. They all look kind of cracked. I think this is about the largest that I can get as far as pieces from the batch that I have right now. This one is 2 5/8. So that's about the size, I think, of the points that are able to be gotten from this stuff. Big fork. Yeah, big fork. Got that piece. I got this piece. This might have a good solid piece. Let's see. Well, there is some solid, but that is less than 2 inches. Well, it's right at 2 inches. So I can probably get a piece out of this, like an arrowhead, little bitty arrowhead. But yeah, this has got internal crackages. It's not really reliable. Let me see, how about this one? Yeah, I could make one out of this. This one is, again, about 2 inches. There's a possibility with that one. Yeah, that has internal issues on this piece. This one is a lighter gray. These are all pieces from Rock and Pop's Adventures. He gave me a box of challenge rocks. This is not too bad. This is actually pretty good. I think this piece of big fork might work. Let's see. Hold on, but Mr. Estes. Oh, yeah, this is much better quality. Yeah. Yeah, if this is big fork, it looks It looks almost like the Fort Payne actually, because this one's kind of slick. It's not as slick as the Fort Payne, but it's much better than this piece. These pieces are different. This one is nice. So there are some good pieces. All right, this is all from your, right, Stacy? This is Aaron Estes. Estes, okay. Aaron Estes. Sorry about that. I've been pronouncing your name like a friend of mine in junior high. He pronounced his name Estes. But Estes, okay. So these look pretty good, Stacy. But this other stuff, I can only get maybe 2-inch arrowheads out of this stuff. I don't know if Stacy's still in the house. All right, you don't care what I call you. Cool. I'm glad you don't feel bad that I messed up your name the whole time. All right. Let's see. Let's get back to the Fort Payne and see what we can do. I don't know if Rockin' Pop's Adventures is still in the house. Don't call me late for dinner. Yeah. I like dinner too. Yep. Dinner is one of my favorites. So this is currently Fort Payne shirt. It is being cooperative during this preliminary thinning stage. Super chat received $1.99. Thank you. Bobby Estes, Aaron Estes. Yes, thank you. Oh, this smells like oil when I grind it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that didn't go. That didn't go. That crunched. Well, I got 3 good flakes, right? Or no? Let's see. Let's see if we can improve our odds here. No, not that one. That one wasn't too bad. Yeah. Let's make some miracles. Yeah, let's see. See if we can get this cleaned up and nice and smooth. That'd be a miracle, because I think I almost messed it up. Taking off too much. If I take too much off of one area or scoop it out too much, it messes the whole thing up. Come on. No? Yeah, like that. I'm hitting this much harder than that Novaculite. That's for sure. I got used to that Novaculite. This is tremendously more. I'm using tremendously more force on this. Yes. Tremendously more. It's a Flintknapping term. And I'm just opportunistically doing it. There's no rhyme or reason. Just whatever I think looks good. And even if I don't think it looks good, sometimes I just take a shot anyway. Yeah, you like the way it's working? Yeah, this one's working pretty good. So the preliminary thinning is done. Now comes the hardest part of flint knapping. Yep. It was easy compared to what I'm going to go through now. Okay. Let's see. Let's get everything fixed up for this next part. I'm going to swap down to a smaller diameter. Okay. Swap it down to a smaller diameter. Here we go. Nice and round. See, this one on this side, I sharpened it a little bit more. This one's a little bit more oval shaped. This one's a little bit more rounded. We're going to go with the rounded first. Let's see if we can quickly get this thin down to a nice thinness. All right. Next stage is upon us. Sweat stage. Here we go. We're going to try to do this fast. I've already been on for 2 hours. So let's try to get this wrapped up quickly. And no, I'm not going to explain how to do it fast. I'm just going to show you. You just have to... You have to somehow activate your eyeballs without hearing what I'm doing. Yeah. You're going to have to get used to using your eyes just by themselves. Yeah. It's handy, especially... We're lucky that we speak English. Other flint knappers in other countries they have to learn how to flint knap from English speakers. Right? Because most of these flint knapping videos are in English. So just put yourself in their place. Yeah, you don't need no stinking explanations. All right. Let's get serious. Okay, here we go. Round 2. Nope. I knew it. Didn't grind it enough. Luckily, this grinds down pretty fast. No. No. Yeah. No. Yes. No, it's not. That's not going to do. That's not gonna do it. Don't get finicky on me now. Come on. It wants me to really, really strike it like I'm gonna break it. I could just do a bunch of little flakes, but that's not my style. Yeah, like that. Come on. You can do it. Yep. Yes. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're almost there yet. All right, time for a little bit of symmetry. All right. Yeah, it wants to be tough. All right. I see how it's going to go. Okay, hardest part is over. I think it's downhill from here. Yeah. That's it. I'm not going to go any further with it. Even though there's some spots that might be able to be flattened out more. I'm going to just sharpen it and notch it. Yeah. Pressure flaking time. It dived a little bit in the middle, but I'm going to leave it. Okay. So I'm just picking at the edge right now. This is not sharpening, this is making it straighter. And I made the base straighter also and thinned it down a little bit more. I'm going to do the notching before the sharpening. So this is just straightening the edge, and if there is a lump or two that I can exploit and remove thickness, I will do it with indirect percussion. I can see that there's still some opportunities for thinning the tip. I'm going to try with pressure first. Yeah, I might be able to do it with pressure, since this is easy to pressure flake, relatively speaking. And the edges don't crush. If the edges were crushy, I couldn't do those big flakes. So it depends on the material to some extent whether it can be thinned with pressure flaking. Yeah, if it's hard to pressure flake without crushing it, it's going to be hard to sharpen and hard to thin. But it looks like it's alright. I had to get a better tip though. A little bit sharper tip on the pressure flaker. I've got several pressure flakers now, so I'm going to be switching out according to which one has a better tip at the moment. And yeah, I'm zigzagging the edge a little bit near the tip because there's a big thick spot. Okay. I'm just preparing the edge, but I'm going to use a sharper tip than this. Okay, so I'm preparing the edge for more thinning, okay? I can see that I need to taper this tip a little bit more. So I'm just preparing for that. Preparing for the tapering. I'll need to do some percussion work. So I'm just getting ready for that. See how it's thicker on this side right here. This side's really flat and tapered, but this side is where I need to remove material. But it is cooperating, so as long as I'm not too greedy, I should be able to do it. So yeah, everything I'm doing is so I can prepare the edge for these thinning strikes that I'm going to be doing here in a minute. I'm switching out the pressure flakers according to how big of these pressure flakers that I'm switching out pressure flakers according to how big the flakes need to be. How do I know how big the flakes need to be? I'm trying to contour the edge, and sometimes I need little flakes, sometimes bigger flakes to make sure the edge is straight. And yeah, I can do little flakes with a big flaker, but it's so much easier with the smaller tip flaker. Alright, so now I can do thinning. Some final thinning on this. Yeah. Okay. See, I've been on for 2 hours, 27 minutes. I'm going to try to wrap this up. I said that before already. Sharper tip on the percussion flaker. Alright, let's see. Try for the easy peasy stuff first. And this side's more difficult. Because it seems easy. Usually when it seems easier, it's the more difficult side. Yeah. Seems like, oh, I can just take off a few flakes, but that's when it'll get you. When it seems too easy to be true. Yep. Does that make any sense? Yeah, well, that's the way I look at it. Sometimes it'll look too easy to be true, and that's when it usually is. You start to, when it looks too easy, you start to think, oh, I don't need to be as precise because, you know, it should be more forgiving when it looks really easy. But it won't be. It won't be more forgiving. Are we there yet? I think we're there as far as the tapering. Yeah, that's good enough. There's still lumpages right there, but I don't see how to attack that without messing everything up. Let's see. Maybe I can get rid of some of that lumpage right there. Maybe. Hopefully without losing too much of the edge. Yes? No. It's not good enough. Hold on. I have to improve the edge. Yeah, that looks a little better. All right, let's see. Yeah, I think that's right where I wanted it. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to put notches in it. Okay, let's get ready for notches. It's kind of crunchy in the middle, but I can't take the chance on running another flake in there. It's too flat. But I tried picking some of that out. But it's all right. Yeah, I'll just live with what I got. So now I just have to straighten the edge a little bit. A little bit more. Okay, let me see. Okay. Let's see. Bill Taylor is here. He asked me, is that considered a lost lake or just a corner notch? This one's going to be a pine tree, actually. I was looking at the pine trees a little earlier. I just wanting to make sure I got the notches the correct depth. And I don't know what's wrong with the focus on this thing. I'm having a very hard time making sure it's in focus. But I was trying to get the notches correct for a pine tree. Let me just double check. Yeah. So the notches are fairly deep on a pine tree, and they got to be at an angle also. I got to make a little bit of a dent down here in the bottom of the notch, or the bottom of the base. Well, some of these are straight across, some of them are slightly convex. Some of them have a little divot. Like, see that? Some are concave base, some are rounded. But I think I got the notch depth okay. I just have to round off these barbs. The pine trees have rounded off barbs on the majority of these, and serrations on the sides. So I'll round off the barbs a little bit, and then we'll do the serrations. It's supposed to be a pine tree. I think it's too small for a lost lake. And the modern pine trees that modern knappers make are way too fancy with the serrations. If you saw in the book, you notice that the serrations on the pine trees in the book are not fancy. They're just kind of all chaotic. So I'm going to put in some chaotic notches. And serrations. First I'll do the notching, and then I'll work on the spaces in between. I'll make the spaces in between more pointed. I'm going to keep the book open to that section. See, the notches are spread far apart with points in between. Yeah. They get closer together as you move up the point. And the serrations and stuff kind of stop right about this point here, and they're not always up near the tip. So I'm going to stop the serrations here in a minute. Yeah, and I'm looking in the book from time to time. Okay, so serrations on that side are pretty much done. We'll do the other side. Okay, I think I'm done. Yeah, I could mess around with these serrations a little bit more, of course. A lot of modern nappers tend to spend a lot of time on these, but as long as they look scary, yeah. There's a little bit of crushing going on, but it's not too bad. Yeah, I try to put the ridges on the serrations. Not all of them have the ridges, but that's all right. Yeah, I'm just going to live with what I got. Okay, they're a little bit chaotic, but it's all right. Yeah, the stone cooperated, so I got lucky. Yeah. A lot of rounded corners. They're not sharp. These corners on the ears and the barbs, they don't appear to be sharp. So I rounded them off a little bit. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to call it good. The neck is kind of wide on these, so I'm not too worried about the depth of the notches. These things have wide necks on them. Yeah. See how wide that neck is? It's wider than mine. That one's more narrow. Okay, so yeah. Pine tree. Here's some more. These are kind of sharp on the ears, but most of these are kind of rounded off. Almost like they're ground down. Almost. Okay, so mine's like the first stage. Some of these look like they've been resharpened. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to call it good, I mean. Let's see if I can get a better background so you can see. Yeah, Christmas tree. It's called a pine tree. Nice and scary on the edges. All right? Okay. Yeah. And I don't make fancy pine tree points. I've made these before. I never really take much time on these, so I like the way they look when they're a little bit crude and not modern looking. The modern looking ones are just too perfect for me. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, this turned out to be nice material. I just kind of made it crunchy in the middle on this side a little bit. Yeah. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna call it a night. I've already been on for 3 hours. Yes. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to check the chat and then I'll call it a night. Yeah. Sometimes I haft these things, but I'm not going to haft it. I'm just going to show it in a 4-shaft. In the ladle dart. Pine trees were at ladle darts. At ladle dart tips. As far as I know. Okay? So I'm showing it in a 4-shaft. Right? I'll just be awake anyway. So I'm using modeling clay to simulate the glue. This is not the real glue. Pausing. I don't know. How's the connection with you guys? It says I have an unstable connection. Okay, so the glue is for, holding it in place, filling the gaps, and to create a nice smooth transition between the stone and the wood. And we're not supposed to have any gaps between the glue and the sinew. So I'm going to try to make sure that is taken care of as well. Now, real hot melt, you'd be using water to put on your fingers so it doesn't stick to the sticky hot melt. This is not sticky because it's modeling clay. Alright, and I'm going to take this apart later and I'm going to sell this point in the auction. This one will be available in the auction. Okay, so this is backstrap sinew. I've reused this several times, so it has some modeling clay stuck in it. That's why it's kind of dirty looking. I've used it several times. Okay, that's it. Yeah, when it dries, it looks a little bit better. But that's how they used to have them, right? Yeah, that's the average size that little dart foreshaft. I've measured some of these that survive in museums. You know, they'll show the photographs of the ones that are in museums, and then sometimes they'll have a little scale next to them. So I measured, this is about average. It's close to 1 centimeter in diameter, or a little bit more on the average at little dart foreshaft. Okay? So there you go. I just wish it would focus every time. Alrighty. I'm going to check the chat and call it a night. Where is the phone? Come on. I had the phone plugged in. Okay, let's see. Where are we? It's a nice one, says Prairie Ghost Ken. Ken, you're still up? That's good work, said Chris. Hey, Danny, don't know because we got thunderstorms? I don't know. Let's see. Thunderstorm. Intermittent. Yeah, it said I had a bad connection earlier, so there's probably intermittent disruptions. Okay, then. That's it. Good to see everybody. Danny says, wicked, my friend. So cool. Well done. Better say night to y'all. Weather gonna kick me out again soon. Great show, Patrick. Thanks for fine show. Crude rocks. That's the way they ought to be. Yeah, I agree. Bill Taylor's here. Fantastic, Patrick. And my company here says he's cooked. He's hooked. Your company says he's hooked. Awesome. He will start watching you from now on and comment when he gets over being shy. Nice. Sweet point. Looks awesome. I'm glad you guys liked it. I'm going to go straight to sleep after this. I am very tired. Yeah. Lots of people still here. Hey, Lance. Lance is still here. Stoneface. Mr. Estes. We got some new people. Jorge is still here. Wow. Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same station. Tomorrow night's a slab night. Right? It's Wednesday? Yeah. This is a pine tree style point. $1.99 super chat. Mr. Estes. I keep saying Estes. He corrected me earlier. Estes. Okay. All right, that's it. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.